So when you do something for the first time, you usually make mistakes, right? Oh my word. With my very first wholesale order ever for my Amazon business, I made 6 big mistakes. And in this video, I'm going to share those 6 mistakes so that you don't make those same mistakes in your wholesale order. So I made some pretty big mistakes. I'm going to give you the biggest mistake last, but I'm going to jump right into 6 mistakes I made with my first wholesale order, and how, looking back, some of them were like obvious, like what were you thinking? Why did you do that? And other ones were not so obvious that I learned a few lessons. So let's get right into it. Mistake number 1, when I was making my very first wholesale order, I ordered too many products. Now, I went way too deep. There was a minimum that I was supposed to get of certain products. I went way over and ordered way too many products. I was thinking that, oh man, these things are going to sell. They're going to sell awesome. And I ordered way too many items, and it ended up that the items started to sell pretty well at first, and then it slowed down, and then competition came in, and I ended up having to just try to sell just to kind of get some money back. And I went way too deep. So when you're making your first wholesale order, don't get too excited. Don't get caught up and make this huge order. Calm down a little bit. Make a first opening order and kind of ease into it. You don't want to jump right into the deep end. You want to ease into the shallow end when it comes to your first wholesale order. Second mistake that I made, I spent way too much money. It was crazy. So when you do a first wholesale order, most wholesale companies have a minimum opening order. There's a certain amount that you need to purchase for your first order. A lot of times, reordering, you can do smaller orders, but the first one, they want to make sure you're serious, so there's a minimum. So there was a wholesale company that I worked with for my very first wholesale order, and they gave me the minimum, and I went well over the minimum. I put way too much of my sourcing capital into my first wholesale order. I should know better. I've been selling online for years, and I just should know better. So don't spend way too much money. Make sure you save some of that money. Plenty of other money for sourcing items that you do know. You know, if you're comfortable with retail arbitrage or online arbitrage or garage sales, thrift stores, if you're comfortable with that, save the most of your money for the things that you are comfortable with, things that you have skills, the things that you have confidence in. And when you're just starting out with your wholesale order, don't put too much money into that. The third mistake that I made, I ordered some really time-sensitive goods. I'm not talking about grocery stuff that's going to expire. I'm talking about something that was particularly focused on one season. And after that season passes, the demand just kind of goes down. So I ordered way too much. I spent way too much money, and I focused on a seasonal item. So with your first wholesale order, it's a good idea to focus on something that's going to have appeal throughout the year, and something that you can sell, consistently, not something that you need to sell very quickly. So my fourth wholesale mistake that I made with my very first wholesale order was that I didn't negotiate. Now, sometimes on an opening order, maybe you shouldn't negotiate, but guess what? This guy that I was working with, he told me that his minimum orders, were this much, and I had to pay this much. And since I spent a whole lot more than was the minimum, I probably should have asked for a price break. I probably should have said, hey, you're asking for a minimum down here. I want to do up here. What kind of price break can I get for getting up here? And I didn't do that. I didn't even think about that. I negotiate all the time with retail managers, retail store managers, and garage sales and thrift stores. And so I should know better. But I didn't negotiate, or at least attempt to negotiate. Now, you don't want to just negotiate without something to offer. Like, I could have offered making a huge purchase, being able to, if he could cut the price down a little bit. If you're just doing a minimum order, don't try to negotiate. That's kind of rude, especially. That's not a good way to start your relationship with a wholesale company. So that was my mistake number 4. Mistake number 6, I made a few assumptions. I kind of assumed that there were certain things with this order that I didn't know. I assumed that there was going to be free shipping. Yeah, okay, some wholesale companies, they'll have free shipping, some of them won't. I assumed that there was going to be free shipping, and once I placed the order and the guy said, okay, it'd be this much more for shipping, I was like, oh, it's eating into my ROI, but you know what, let's do it, we're jumping into it. I didn't look into that. I also was ordering an item that was going to need to be polybagged to send to Amazon, and So I made the assumption that the items were going to come not bagged. And so I bought a whole bunch of poly bags, spent a lot of money on a huge case of poly bags. And of course, when the items arrived from the wholesaler, they were already bagged. So now I've got like a lifetime supply of poly bags. So I just made some assumptions. That was a mistake. Now, the biggest mistake that I made when I made my very first wholesale purchase from my Amazon FBA business was this. I didn't realize that there was a difference between manufacturers and distributors when it comes to purchasing a wholesale item. When you purchase from a manufacturer, you're going straight to the maker of that item. You are able to get the absolute lowest price for that item that they're offering. You might have to go a little bit deeper by going through a manufacturer, but you know you're going to get the best deal. There's distributors who are also selling wholesale items. They're basically a middleman between you and the manufacturer. So you can go, not go as deep buying from a distributor, but you're going to pay more money. I ended up spending a whole lot of money buying a whole lot of items to send to Amazon from a distributor who was getting them for even better deals, not realizing, wait a minute, there's other people who are selling on Amazon. They're getting them for better deals. If this distributor is getting them for a really good deal, there's going to be other people. And sure enough, the prices went down because people were getting them for a better deal than I was. So when you are sourcing wholesale items, yes, it's possible to purchase from a distributor and be able to still make some good money, but the best bet is to go straight to the manufacturer, have a wholesale relationship with them, and be able to follow through with that, make a really good order, and you'll be able to have a lot more wiggle room when it comes to prices going up and down, and you're going to be able to get a lot better deal. So those are the 6 big mistakes I made with my very first wholesale purchase. I hope that these have helped you so that when you make your first wholesale purchase or your second or third, you don't make those same mistakes that I did. I hope this has been helpful for you. So that's it for today. Thanks so much for hanging out with me. If you like this video, you can scroll down, give us a thumbs up, leave us a comment. If we had any links in this video, you can find those in the description below. You can also find out how to go to fulltimefba.com and get a free sales rank chart, another freebie that will help you with your Amazon business. We have a free book that you can download. Lots of free stuff, fulltimefba.com. Anyway, that's it for today. Have a great day, and God bless.